Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, as you could tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are talking about ritual beasts and their combos. And honestly, this is probably going to be one of the longest videos I ever make because, well, maybe not, but because of the fact that these combos are incredibly difficult to actually pull off and require a lot of work. And they are non-linear, meaning it takes a lot of there's a lot of different things that you can go through. It's not just following one line, but there's a branching path, and it's not simple. There's not a lot of locks. You don't like lock yourself out of anything, but a lot of things that you do have to keep in mind. So let's just start off with the bread and butter combo, Ulti-Cannahawk. So when you normal summon an Elder gives you, just has the effect where you can normal summon a ritual beast monster in addition to your normal summoner set. So there you go, you summon out the Cannahawk, and now you've normal summoned both of these. Then you are going to activate the Cannahawk's effect in order to banish a card. Here it kind of doesn't matter too much what you end up banishing, but Apelio does seem to be the best option. So we're going to banish the Apelio here, and then we will go into our first Ulti-Cannahawk. So we'll special summon this guy by banishing these. We will banish and banish. And then declare the effect of Ulti-Cannahawk. And what we will do is we will target two cards. One that we want to send to the grave, and one that we want to one that we want to special summon. So here I am going to target the Cannahawk. So I'm going to target the Cannahawk as well as the Elder. The Cannahawk will then, then Chainlink 2, so I've targeted these two. Chainlink 2, what I will do is I will use the secondary effect and put this back to the extra deck, and then I will target the card that I want to special summon, being the Elder. So I will target the Elder, and then I will target the Apelio, and both of these will be special summoned back in defense position, and then this guy will go to grave, and because a card has successfully gone back to the grave, I am able to search out a card. So here I am going to search out the Wynn. So I'm going to add this to the hand. The reason I go for Wynn is pretty simple. Here, I'm going to go for the Apelio, which banishes the Cannahawk. So I will banish this, and now I have a target for Wynn. However, I have already used up both of my normal summons. The summon I got from Elder, as well as my regular normal. So, how am I going to normal summon this? Well, let us send both of these to the grave in order to go for a Link summon. Notably, this monster, the Link monster, does in fact send your monsters to the grave. So it sets up its own effect really well. If you don't know what this effect is, what it does, you banish a card from the graveyard, a ritual beast card from the graveyard, in order to normal summon once again. Also, your cards gain 600 attack and defense for, or when they are pointed, or when this card points to them. So that does come up. It's pretty nice to have. So what we are going to do is I'm going to actually banish. It doesn't really matter too much what I banish here, because both of these have already been special summoned, and every ritual beast monster can only be special summoned once per turn. So both of these have already been specialed, so I cannot special them again. Do keep that in mind. Just, that's something you constantly have to keep in mind. Hey, what have I already special summoned? So, what I'm going to banish, it doesn't really matter too much, but I'm going to end up banishing the Apelio here, because Apelio we only run one of, whereas we have multiple Elders. So if need be, I could banish another Elder if I needed to get that into rotation, and Apelio also allows you to banish from the grave, which is incredibly important in this deck. So I'm going to banish the Apelio here in order to summon out the Wynn. I can put it in the arrow or whatnot, kind of depends, but honestly it doesn't matter too much. Here I am going to add back and special summon the Cannahawk, and then I get another activation of Cannahawk because it is not a hard once per turn. It is just a soft once per turn. So as long as you are able to summon out this card once, as long as you're able to summon this card out, you can get as many activations of this as you please. If you have a whole bunch of normal summons, you could normal summon this a whole bunch. Honestly, it's not worth it, but you could. So at this point, a good option. We haven't we haven't specialed this Wynn. So what I can do is I can banish another beast. So I could banish something like a Pettlephin. I could banish a Rampengu, or I could banish a Winda. I think Winda is probably... Let's banish a Rampengu here. Winda is very nice to get into rotation, but I think banishing a Rampengu here will be pretty good. So I'm going to then banish these two in order to summon out another Cannahawk. So we will special summon this guy. And then we get to activate its effect again and do the same thing. So here I will target the Wynn because I do want to special summon that. And I've already special summoned the Cannahawk, so I will target that one as well. The Cannahawk will go to the grave. We'll activate the effect. We will put this back into the extra deck. We will special summon out the Rampengu and then the Wynn. So these two have been special summoned. These two have been special summoned. This now goes to the grave. And everything on the field has currently been special summoned, meaning I cannot use any of them to special summon again. Okay, but I did end up getting another search. So again, this was with 2 cards in hand, and I've been able to search twice now. Doesn't matter what else I had, but yeah, that's pretty nice. I can search out whatever card I need here. Most of the time I'm going to search out a trap here, but yeah, we'll search out the ambush here. That's probably the best option. So here we can go into, we could go into another Cannahawk if we so chose, but honestly, it's probably not worth it. What we can do, though, is we can go into Ulti-Gaiapelio. What this card says is, let me read it to you. During either player's turn, when a spell card, spell trap card, or monster effect is activated, you can banish a Ritual Beast card from your hand to negate the activation. So, say, for example, I had another card or so in hand. I could just go into that and have a big negate board. However, notably, this card is not able to tag out like the rest of your Ritual Beasts. So, what you should do is, I mean, we do have a tag out here with the Kimunfalcos, but realistically, what I could do is, or, well, actually, that won't be able to tag out because I need it for this guy. So, realistically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to special summon out the Pettlephin here by banishing these guys. And the reason I go for Pettlephin is because it can't be destroyed by card effects, which can come up. But more importantly, it's got a big booty and it can tag out as well. And since we have the Apelio banished, it can get over that 3,000 defense threshold, which is incredibly important. Because we can tag out the Kimunfalco on the opponent's turn, special summon it, the Apelios and the Wynn, banish a card with the Apelios, like for example the Elder, because that would give us another Tamer specifically in the banish pile. So then we could also banish with the, or send back with the Ulti-Pettlephin, and then get the 2 monsters onto the field. But notably, it would get over that 3,000 threshold because of Apelio's effect. And Apelio's effect is a quick effect, so that's very nice. You can do it to, you know, maybe force your opponent to take some battle damage or something like that. But all in all, it's very nice. And then, yeah, at this point, I could also set the ambush if I need to, and, you know, go from there. At this point, this is kind of the turn 1 setup. It's not the greatest. You could also end on, I mean, in Ulti-Apelio as well, just because it's 2,600 attack. But notably, it doesn't actually do anything. It's literally just a 2,600 beater. It's only if this card attacks that it becomes unaffected. So if it's attacked, it's still affected by card effects. So do keep that in mind. Also, an Ulti-Cannahawk here doesn't really do anything. If I wanted to get another search, I wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't have anything in the banish pile to go into on the following turn, which is problematic. So, yeah. But at this point, we have ambush. We have a lot of ways to get follow-up for the following turn. And then on the following turn, we can assemble lethal. So, you know what? Let's just do that. Let's quickly tag out all of these cards. So I will put these cards back into the extra deck. And let's say that we just did the play that I was describing. So we were able to special summon out the Apelio, and then the Apelio was able to banish the Ritual Beast Tamer. Or, sorry, the Elder. Oh, whoops, I accidentally clicked the wrong button. So now, so we would have had banished the 2 Tamers as well as the 2 Beasts. And now we're able to tag out into all of them. So, yeah. Let's say that this is the board. Or maybe something does get destroyed, right? Say say the Wynn gets destroyed and goes to grave, nope, not what I wanted, goes to grave, as well as the Apelio, we were only able to keep the Pettlephin. So we have this board as we go into the next turn. I'm going to draw a card. Doesn't really matter what I end up drawing here, because immediately what we are going to do is, since we have Rampengu here, we are able to activate its effect. What we will do is we will banish a card. Let's banish ourselves the... I guess we have to banish the Cannahawk. I guess we could banish the Pettlephin to get Pettlephin into rotation. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. We'll banish the Pettlephin. We will view our grave, or our deck. We will send this guy to grave, and then, yeah, that's the effect. And as you can see, just explaining the quote-unquote bread and butter combo, there's a whole bunch of different lines that you already can take in order to get more advantage, or go for different plays, or kind of depending on the hand that you have. So it's really quite a lot to handle. And the more that you play it, the more it will make sense. But at this point, we could just go into our Ulti-Cannahawk. We will banish these two. And at this point, we get another search. So we can target the Pettlephin and then the Rampengu, and then we will declare it again, and then we will target the Rampengu and the Elder. We'll special summon back these guys. No, not that one. That one. And then this guy will go back to the extra deck. And sorry, this one goes to grave, and then we will be able to search a card. So let's search out an Elder. Because, alas, we have not normal summoned, and Elder gives us that extra normal summon. So, at this point, we could do a few things. We have Rampengu's effect that we could activate again. What did I actually end up sending? I did send the Pettlephin. Okay, so we have Rampengu's effect that we could do again. However, we don't have any real way to special summon again. So, there's no real point in doing that. Instead, what I'm going to do is, since we have the Ambush, we're going to activate Ambush here, and we are going to special summon out the... Apelio, because again, it banishes from the grave, and we have a bunch of materials in the grave. Then we will special summon out the Wynn as well, and this will go to grave. At this point, we will declare the effect of the Apelio. We're going to banish the Cannahawk, because again, it gets us more advantage. If we ended up needing to return something to the hand, we could go for the Pettlephin here, and then we could special summon back the Pettlephin and search out something for Pettlephin to banish, and then return something. You know what? Let's do that. Let me show you how that would work. So we'll banish the Pettlephin instead of the Cannahawk. So Cannahawk back to the grave. And then here I am going to use Ulti-Cannahawk. We're going to special summon this guy. We will banish the two, these two. So yeah, banish the Wynn, banish the the Apelio. Actually, no, don't do that. Just kidding. Don't go with the Apelio. Go with something that you have already special summoned. So we're going to go for the Rampengu here. And the reason for this is because since it can't be special summoned again, if I send it to the grave, it will... Like, it being in the grave doesn't matter nearly as much. But I could special summon back these two. Whereas, if I were to send the Apelio back to grave, it would be harder to get back out of the grave. Whereas this guy can still be special summoned. So... if he goes to the banish pile, it's significantly better, because then I can recur that advantage and bring him back. Hopefully this is making sense. Anyway, we're going to target the Rampengu and do the classic combo. You know how this goes at this point. I'm going to send that to the extra deck, send this to the grave, and then special summon these guys. And then we will search our card. I'm going to go for the Winda here. The reason for this is because it counts as both a spiritual beast as well as a tamer. So that means that we can use two Windas in order to go into any fusion, as well as we can special summon out the two Windas. While it does say you can only special summon a spiritual beast Winda once per turn, you actually can special summon them. Or I should say, you can special summon two of them if you are able to special summon them at the same time. So if you were to tag out and there are two Windas that are banished, you could target those two Windas that are banished and bring both of them out. I'll show you in a second. So here, what I'm going to do is we're going to declare Pettlephin. We're going to banish this guy. And then we will go for an Ulti-Cannahawk. We will use this guy, and it doesn't matter what tamer we use, because they're both they've both already been special summoned. So no matter what, I would have to use the Winda here as well as the Apelio. But we are going to do the same combo as you've seen. This goes to Grave, this gets special summoned in defense, and this gets special summoned as well. I didn't show you the thing, but it's kind of hard for me to get another Winda here. At this point, we get to search another card, and we can search whatever it is that we end up needing. Again, we have not normal summoned, so do keep that in mind. We also have not special summoned the Cannahawk, so do keep that in mind as well. And since it's in the Grave, I think we will do just that. We are going to add ourselves a this guy, the Zeframp. Whoops, I accidentally clicked the wrong one. Add this guy to hand. Okay, so Elder specifically allows you to normal summon any Ritual Beast monster, which is very, very important and very nice. At this point, what we are going to do is we are going to go for a... I mean, I could link off into something like a Knightmare Phoenix and pitch a card in order to destroy a card. I could go for something like I could go Knightmare Phoenix and then into Access Code. You know, I could do, I could go for Ulti-Apelio. I could go for another Cannahawk to get more searches if need be. You know, in fact, you know what? Let's do just that. We'll banish this one and this one in order to go for this. And then what I will do is I will, yeah, I'll normal summon out this guy. And then I don't need to use my normal summon right now, so I'm not going to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to then banish these two in order to go for another fusion. What do I go into? We'll special summon the Apelio here. And now I will summon, now that I have... Oh, whoops, just kidding. Normal summon. Now that I have the extra space here, I will normal summon the Zeframp, and then I can special summon the Cannahawk. And now Cannahawk's effect can activate, and we can banish another card. In Crazy Engine, it's a crazy engine, I know, and it's really complicated and does take a lot of time, but if you're able to make it work, it's really good. So the only card that we currently do not have in rotation is Lara. So at this point, we're just going to banish the Lara to get it into rotation, just so that we have it. Everything else has been special summoned, so if we wanted to, we can use the Cannahawk here and just let the things go to the grave. So like, I have two Elders here, so I could just send like an Elder and a Pettlephin or something along those lines. Or I could even, I mean, I could link here, or not link, go into another fusion here in order to get a better activation of that. Doesn't really matter too much, but we'll do that. We'll go into the Gaiapelio. So let me banish this guy, and we will banish this guy as well as this one. And now we can go into the Ulti-Gaiapelio. And then, let's see. We can actually target the Apelio as well as the Tamer. Or, sorry, the Elder. So we'll do that. We'll send this guy to the grave and this guy to the grave. And now we get another search. So how many searches have we been able to do this turn? Were you counting? I think it was 3. I think it was 3 this turn. So yeah, quite a bit of searches. And granted, this wasn't with a fully set up board as well. We weren't able to actually fully set up the banish pile or anything like that, which is, I mean, it's impressive that we've gotten this far. And we also can go back into the Link monster as well. And with that Link monster, we could get another normal summon, which could potentially get us another summon of a monster, right? I don't feel that that's necessary. Instead, we're going to grab ourselves Steeds here. Steeds is just a non-target pop, depending on the amount of ritual monsters that you have. Non-target, destroy a monster. Really, really useful. Also, if we wanted to go to battle phase here, we could. So we could go to battle. I think all of our guys would be boosted by 500, if I'm not mistaken. But we would also have that negate in hand if we needed it. So yeah, we could just go to battle and attack into everything. And there you go. It's not quite lethal. It kind of depends on how you want to do things, whether you need more searches in order to deal with the board, or what have you. Also, you know, if I didn't want to go into this guy, say I wanted to go into, say I had, oh, where is he? Excuse me. I don't remember what I used to go into that guy. I think it was this one and this one. I don't think it matters. So we can actually do something like this, where we go send this guy to the grave and send this guy, and then we can go into the link monster. Oh shoot, I should have sent the okay, we'll send that guy instead, so that we can have this guy in attack position at the very least. So I could go with something like this, and then since everything is boosted by 500, as well as the 600 for these two, although this guy won't get that effect, I can get some pretty big guys on board, and this can be a pretty simple push for lethal here at this point. Ulti-Apelio, do keep in mind, will always be 2600 when he attacks. He's not going to be bigger with anything. In Duel Links, you can kind of boost him up with skills, but other than that, he's just stuck like this. So do keep that in mind. But yeah, that's pretty much the basic combos. But yeah, it's kind of complicated. Let me tell you a little bit more about some of the more intricate details of this deck. Alright, so let me quickly tell you about one of the combos that you can do if you don't end up drawing Elder. So yeah, it's a little bit more complicated, and it does require you to play Ritual Beast Return. I don't actually end up playing this in my deck that I use for Master Duel, and the reason for this is because it's a little bit too slow, and it's a little bit bricky. It's nice from time to time, but honestly, it's just more worth it to play the traps themselves, and then also have access to things like IO, Imperial Order, to just prevent your opponent from playing the game sometimes. So it's okay, and I still figured I would want to show you this in case you decide to play this card. It's not a bad card, but yeah. So if you have either Cannahawk and then any other Ritual Beast, or if you don't have Cannahawk, but you have Rampengu and specifically a Tamer, this combo will work. So I'm going to show you Cannahawk first, and then I'll do Rampengu. It's very similar. So you're going to activate the effect. You're going to normal summon it, and then you're going to activate the effect. You are going to banish yourself, depending on what you have in hand, either a Tamer or a Beast. Doesn't matter which one, just a Tamer or a Beast. So here, since I have Winda in hand, I'm going to banish myself an Ulti-Apelio. An Apelio. I'm going to banish the Apelio. At this point, I will activate Ritual Beast Return, since we have a target for this, and then I am going to banish this card, and then I am going to bring it right back. So I'm going to special summon it, the Winda, right back into defense position. I could have special summoned it in attack position, doesn't really matter. At this point, this card goes to the grave, and now I can get my fusion on. However, notably, since this card has already been fusion summoned, special summoned, if I were to go for something like Cannahawk, I would not be able to actually go into anything else, right? It would just be Cannahawk and the search, and then I could send cards to the grave, but then I wouldn't have anything in the banish pile to tag out for or anything like that. So that is problematic. Depending on the rest of the contents of your hand, maybe you want to go into Kimunfalcos because, if you have like a Lara or a Zeframp, you can special summon back the Cannahawk and then get activations like that, and that could work for you. But it all just kind of depends on what else is in your hand. Most of the time, it's just best to go for the defensive play and go for the Ulti-Apelio. Ulti-Pettlephin. These cards will then be banished. And at this point, if you have like a trap or something like that, you can set it. You can kind of sit on this. It's not the greatest, but it at least allows you something. And then at this point, what you can do, or during your opponent's turn, you could tag this out, go back to the extra deck, bring out the Ulti-Apelio, special summon in defense, and then bring out your Winda, special summon in defense. And then at this point, if Winda gets destroyed by battle or card effect or something like that, it can special summon another Winda, not another Winda, since you've already special summoned a Winda, but it could special summon another card from the deck or the extra deck. So, if need be, you could go into your your Pettlephin again. You could go into an Apelio. You could go into Cannahawk for follow-up on the following turn. You could go in and do a whole bunch of things, as well as you can get the boost from Apelio here in order to banish with return. You banish the return in order to boost up a little bit, or just to get another card in the banish pile, as I said, for something like Ulti-Cannahawk here. So a lot of things that you can do with that. It's not the greatest, but it is something. So at the very least, it gives you a playable hand. Not the greatest, but yeah. All right, so here's another little thing that you can do. Say I'm in the battle phase and I decide to attack with these, but I don't quite have lethal. There's two things that I can do. If I haven't special summoned anything from my banish pile, or if I have at least 2 targets to go out into, the Tamer and the Beast, what I can do is during the battle phase, I can quickly tag out. I can go like this, tag out, bring these guys out. And this does specifically require you to have Ritual Beast Bond in your hand. So I can do this, I can special summon them, and then I can activate the Ritual Beast Bond. I can banish these guys once again in order to go for the last, like, Ulti-Apelio or something along those lines, and get in for lethal, potentially, right? That could get you to lethal. Or say you don't have these 2 guys that are special summonable. What you can do is you can actually just straight up banish your 2 fusions, banish them, and then you can go into your third. There he is. So you can go into the third and attack in there. Also, say for example you had 2 elders. Let me put one of these back to the extra deck, and then let me grab this guy. Say for example you had 2 tamers. This one also works. The reason for that is because it just says banish 2 ritual beast monsters. It doesn't have to be a beast and a tamer, and then you can go into a ritual beast extra deck monster, ignoring its summoning conditions. Meaning you could also even go into this guy, right? You just banish 2, you can go into this guy. It's really nice, but it might even be more worth it to go for an Ulti-Apelio to at least get the unaffected effect. But this guy could get you all the way to lethal with, from 8,000, you just do the 2 Ulti-Apelios attacks, and then you fusion summon it into the Ulti-Gaiapelio. Again, I don't play this card in my deck, and the main reason for this is because it's kind of slow. It's more of a win more card, where if you're already in a winning position, like on an empty board state where you can even do this, then it is pretty good. However, it does come up sometimes where, like, it allows you to get a search off with your, say you have Elder and then another Tamer, and then you can use this to fuse into, like a Cannahawk or something along those lines. It's very nice, but it's not the greatest. It's not the most important. And it's more worth it to play, something like Ambush that allows you to just continually stay protected and stay up on that advantage. Alright, one thing I do want to note real quick is that you can play your entire hand through Macrocosmos as well as Dimension Shifter. So, both of these cards are rather interesting. Let me just put this guy onto the field. And the reason for that is because it does say, while this card is face up on the field, any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. However, notably, there is an exception to this rule. So, if I end up banishing these 2 for our good old friend Ulti-Cannahawk here, if I were to activate Cannahawk's effect, I have tested this in Master Duel, this is how it works, and I were to send these 2 to the grave, they would in fact still go to the grave, even under Macrocosmos, meaning you're still able to get your search. This also works with something like the Dimension Shifter, right? If I have Dimension Shifter as well, not what I wanted to do. Like if I had activated Dimension Shifter prior to my opponent's turn, and now it's my turn, and Dimension Shifter is still up, notably, I would still be able to send cards to the graveyard from the banish pile. It's just that anything that was that is normally sent to the graveyard is banished instead. So, say for example, whoops, not what I wanted. Say, for example, I had these 2 on the field, and I decided to go into my Link monster. These 2 would still be banished, which can be problematic. So that is something to keep in mind. If you do need to get Kimunfalcos effect, you do have to put something into the grave for it to activate. However, with that being said, Macrocosmos and Dimension Shifter are insane cards to utilize and to use, because they straight up can win you duels against a lot of the top meta decks. There is so much reliance on the graveyard, and more specifically, activating cards when they are sent to the graveyard, that this card can literally blow your opponent out if they don't have any sort of response. And since it's at 3 in Master Duel, it's an insane option. It's also at 3 in the OCG as well, which makes it, again, really, really useful. It's not quite as useful in the OCG because there is, Flunders, who are an insane top tier deck, and they actually want their cards banished also, so, but it's still really a solid option. Alright, so another little thing that you can do is with Nibiru. I would honestly suggest main decking at least 1 Nibiru, probably, up to 3. Kind of depends on how much you want to see it. But Nibiru is very good in this deck. So, notably, if your opponent summons 5 times, and you still have your monster on the field, what you could do is Chainlink 1, you can tag out this guy, and then Chainlink 2, activate the effect here, and tribute off the entire field, and then, because it was chained to the effect of your monsters have not come back from the banish pile. So, after the entire field is tributed, you will get 2 monsters onto the field for free. Meaning, now all of a sudden, you have cleared your entire opponent's board, as well as retained the advantage that you originally obtained. Really good. That is an insane combo, and it's definitely worth running Nibiru in your deck. In your main deck, honestly. I'm sorry, I literally just drew this hand, and it's triple Cannahawk, Elder, and Rampengu. And the thing is, at first I was like, wow, this hand kind of sucks. But no, I drew Elder Cannahawk, so it's fine. That's all. Alright, so there's something that I real quick want to talk about, and this is more so for Master Duel as well as the OCG formats, and that is because Maxx C is unlimited there. So, Maxx C is an insanely good card. However, it has a single line of text that is rather important. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. That is incredibly important, and that is why you cannot play Maxx C and play Dimension Shifter. This card specifically requires you to have no cards in your graveyard in order for you to activate it. So, if you want to play something like Maxx C, or if you want to play something like Dimension Shifter, you can play one or the other, but I wouldn't suggest playing them both. They are kind of mutually exclusive. However, you could play something like one Dimension Shifter while still maxing out on Maxx C, and then you would still be able to get the benefit when you do draw it, and hopefully you just don't draw both of them. However, with that being said, Macrocosmos is a little bit easier to work around. So say you end up going second, you're not going to be able to set your Macrocosmos, and you could just activate the Maxx C. Or what you could do is you could set this and then immediately activate your Maxx C and your Macrocosmos, making it so that the Maxx C still goes to the grave, and then you can activate the Macrocosmos and still banish all of the cards your opponent controls. So I would say Macrocosmos is still really good, but it kind of depends on what the meta is. You know, if you're in a meta where blinding second with Dimension Shifter is significantly better, then it probably would be better to go with Dimension Shifter. But all in all, Maxx C is insane, Macrocosmos is insane, so using those two is really nice together anyway. Alright, so there is something really cool that you can do with all of the Ritual Beasts monsters and an additional normal summon. So, as I've mentioned, all of them can only be special summoned once per turn. However, you can normal summon them however many times you want. And if you need to get 2 activations of a card effect, like for example Pettlephins, which allows you to bounce a card, or Apelios to get an additional boost, what you can do is either at the end phase of your opponent's turn, you can special summon them back using the effect of one of your fusion monsters, or during your turn, if you need an effect activation, say you have a Pettlephin in your hand, what you can do is you can just normal summon out the Pettlephin, and now you are able to, hold on, yeah. So now I've normal summoned this. How do I, let me just, oh, I'm bad. Okay. Anyway, so now that I've normal summoned this, I can activate its effect. I can banish the Apelio. I can go into a fusion, and then I can bring them back. You know, very standard. And now that I've brought it back, since it does say once per turn, but not once per turn, or not a hard once per turn, you can only use the effect of Spiritual Pettlephin once per turn. I am able to activate the effect again. So, activate. I can banish another card from my hand. And, again, I could have searched another card as well off of Cannahawk's effect in order to bring them out. And then, again, I have the additional card to utilize with Pettlephin. And now I can banish this card again and target another card and return it to the hand. Insanely useful thing to remember and to use. And say, for example, you didn't already have the Pettlephin in hand. Once again, you could go like, say you had the Apelio instead. What you can do is you can utilize your normal summon. So you bring out these two here. And then what I'm actually going to do is we're going to send these to the grave and go for the Link monster here. And with the Link monster, oh, I accidentally banished that. That is not at all, you know, dueling books sometimes, you know. Anyway, so say the Pettlephin's in my hand. What I can do is I can activate this effect. I can banish it doesn't really matter. We will banish this guy. And then we can normal the Pettlephin, and then we can activate the effect of the Pettlephin, and banish another card, and then we can tag out with the Kimunfalcos, right? So say I banish this Rampengu here, and then I could tag out into these two, special summon, and this guy goes back to the extra deck, and then I can go into, I don't know, this guy. And then banish and banish. As long as I had another Tamer in rotation, I'd be able to do this pretty effectively. And then, you know, tag out again, back to the extra deck, bring this guy back, bring this guy back, and then again, I get another activation. This is incredibly useful to deal with, like, big moss monsters that at least they can be targeted, or to deal with back row before attacking in, or anything like that, right? So just anything where it's kind of a problematic card before you go in for lethal, you can do this to get those two activations. And since you are banishing cards off of the Pettlephin, you're also setting up your own advantage, and it's really, really solid. So do keep that in mind. All right, so now let's talk about Wynn, the Wind Channeler. So there's a major reason why we play this card, even though it's kind of expensive in Master Duel, and that is because it gets you to either your Cannahawk or your Elder. So if you only have one piece of this combo, as long as you have Wynn and another Wind monster, what you can do is you can send this card to the grave, you discard this as well as another Wind monster in order to add basically your entire archetype, except for specifically Winda, monsters. Only the monsters you can search for, except for Winda and Lara. So that's also why we're playing Zeframp instead of the additional Lara, because this card can be searched out. So if I needed to, I could search out this card. But here we can also search out the Elder. And now we have the Elder-Cannahawk combo, and that's really, really solid. As you saw, we gain a ton of advantage off of just these two cards. So it's very nice, and it's just like a consistency boosting card with Wynn. The rest of the effects basically don't matter. They kind of don't do anything, but there you go. Also, say for example, I had just the Cannahawk and no Elder nor any other card here. What I could do is I can still send these two to the graveyard. It does create a weaker play though, because what I can do is I can add myself the Zeframp here. So I can add this guy to the hand. And now what I can do is I can normal summon this, and then I special summon out the Cannahawk, because this card, when it's normal summoned, targets a Ritual Beast monster in the graveyard and special summons it. So we can special summon out the Cannahawk, and then we get to declare the effect and go for something like a Rampengu or an Apelio. If I had monsters in the grave, Apelio is probably better, but realistically, I probably don't. Although I guess it could get a monster into the grave. So yeah, we'll go for the Apelio. And then this basically does the same play, except now I have already special summoned Cannahawk, and I need to keep that in mind. So as I'm going through the combo, I just need to make sure that, hey, I can't special summon back this Cannahawk, so my play will probably be weaker. But at the very least, it still gets you off to the races. So yeah, Wynn, incredibly useful. Definitely use it. Alright, so one more thing I want to mention is Winda here. Let's just talk about this card in particular. This one is, honestly, one of those cards where you can actually just set it and pass. And sometimes, in fact, most of the time, your opponent won't be thinking that they need to banish it or something along those lines, and they'll end up destroying it either by battle or a card effect, which allows you to get another one of this monster onto the field, which then floats into another monster. So it can protect you from lethal and potentially set up your board as well, depending on how much follow-up they have. Like, for example, if this card does end up getting popped, and going to the grave, what I could do is I could special summon another one, or I could go into something like this Ulti-Pettlephin, right? I could special summon it into defense, and all of a sudden I have a 2800 defense monster that cannot be destroyed by card effects, which can be problematic for specific decks to deal with. And at this point, I can just kind of sit on this until I need to actually start playing the game, right? Or I need to... or I draw into something, right? So, I mean, this is a pretty decent hand, but all in all, you know, say I didn't have the Wynn here, I could be like, okay, well, now I can normal summon this Apelio, and I can activate its effect, and then I can go with Ritual Beast Bond, and then I can go into the Ulti-Cannahawk here, and then I can get my searches and go off like that. But, I mean, all in all, it's more of just kind of a stall measure. And if you have additional traps in your deck, like for example, say I open a Macrocosmos or I open a Ritual Beast Steeds or something like that, there is a little bit more interaction that you can do than just, you know, set Winda pass. But honestly, sometimes that's all that it takes, is just a set Winda pass. So don't be afraid to just actually do that, right? Even though, you know, you may actually be able to activate something if you go for, you know, a Cannahawk, you know, if you have the Cannahawk or the Winda, but you don't really have any other follow-up with Cannahawk, maybe it's not worth it to go for the Cannahawk, right? Maybe it's worth it to go and just set the Winda. Alright, so that's going to be it for this video. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy it and that you at least learned somewhat how to play this deck. Honestly, if you really do want to know how to play it, just play it. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fail. As long as you're playing it and you are enjoying it, as long as you're learning, you'll do great. So, yeah, just go out there and play it. Have fun. It's incredibly enjoyable, and it's one of the most rewarding decks to play. With that being said, hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, a like is very much so appreciated. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.